But yeah, I like that. Some days you just want to go and you're just rolling.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about Sarah G. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, please go.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say Sarah G. You had brought her up. Let's talk about. Can you give people who might not know who is Sarah G? What's her quick story?
Okay, yeah. So Sarah G, great nickname to start off with, by the way. Absolute hitter in Australia. I started coaching her back when she was riding with Holden Racing Team back in the National Road Series days. But she rides for AG Sedal now, like the Women's World Tour team, currently at the Vuelta, and sort of has had a bit of success this year, which has been so much fun, winning the Tour Down Under. And then previously, she's won the Nationals road race and the Nationals time trial a couple of times, and yeah, been to the Olympics, been an absolute ride. Yeah, for those who don't know her, I strongly suggest check it out because she's very exciting to watch race and pretty cool person.
That's awesome. So what are some of you had talked about some hurdles that she had to overcome after Nationals TT, and maybe what are some like prep things or things that the listeners might find interesting to hear from a World Tour athlete that you've been able to see as her coach?
Yeah, cool. So I suppose just to touch on the national side of things, it was a whole summer leading into like the time trial. It was like obviously she won the Tour Down Under, but the primary goal of that summer was to win the time trial, try and get selected for Olympics. And just sort of, AG obviously have been incredible in giving her a contract. This is her first year with them. So we just wanted to hit the ground running and, time trials are very controllable. We've won it twice before. So let's just have another crack and try and get a third. And did just a bucket load of time trial work the 3 months leading into it. A lot of prep on that bike, sort of preparing it as well. Got to race day, 40 seconds to go, gears stopped working. It's just cut out. That's it. And she rides the time trial on her road bike. And of course, when you've got people as talented as Grace Brown and Brodie Chapman and Georgie Howe, the list goes on of very, very good female time trialists in Australia, you're not going to get near it on a road bike. So incredibly tough to go through. Obviously, it was a huge goal, and it was just shattering, obviously for Sarah and even myself. It was a lot of work gone into it to sort of just not even get a chance of really genuinely competing at it. But yeah, it was one of those tough things. I suppose you sort of go back to what we talked about earlier in the poddy, that we value what we place value on is not the results, and it's the process. The process leading into that was hugely successful, and it was just like a big tick. Like we got so strong across that, and we really nailed sessions and the communication to adjust training load. And it was just a really good block of training. So then it was like, tick, it's actually a success, although the day didn't go to plan. The next day, massive brew ride, sit at a cafe, reset, and sort of just like get into mode for TDU and Nationals road race. Yeah.
That's a huge bummer to overcome mentally. I mean, just like you said, she didn't even get the opportunity to win or lose, just didn't get the opportunity. And that stinks. I hate to hear that.
Yeah.
When you were talking about TT work in those and I think you said 3 months beforehand, what are some of the key sessions? I think it's a very interesting point that you brought up, like the TT bike work, doing stuff on the actual bike that you're going to be racing on, which I think is overlooked by people that want to do well in time trials sometimes. But what were some of the key actual fitness type sessions that you honed in on?
Yeah, cool. So I suppose time trialing, like it's all about CDA to power. It's about how well you can hold that position and how much power you can put out across the race. And the Nationals, well, it's changed. It's moving next year, but the Ballarat Nationals time trial course is really diverse. Like it's got a bit of a technical section. It's got downhill, uphill, and some flats. So it's got a bit of everything. So you've got to be pretty prepared to be able to go into the red, recover at intensity, and sort of all do it whilst very aerodynamic and quite aggressive in the positions. The workouts are generally, obviously doing a lot of threshold work and sort of trying to bump that number up, but it's a lot about lactate clearance and sort of bumping that VO2 up as well and that kind of thing.
I like what you're saying. So when you get even more granular, when you're talking about threshold work, are you over-unders type guy for certain athletes? Do you have athletes ride at constant power? Some people are people are sort of all over on what they think moves the needle. I'd be curious what your thoughts are.
I think that they both move the needle. So it's like the lactate clearance side of things. Like there's, it's how much lactate you produce versus how much you can get rid of it. So and it's like where that point meets that's steady is where your threshold is, right? And I think the steady state works really well in just being able to just tolerate that workload for a consistent amount of time. But then you also need to be able to have the capacity to sort of oxidize built up lactate and sort of move it and shuttle it around. That over under kind of work, we sort of sometimes do like longer over unders. So you might be even doing like an over section of like 1 to 2 minutes with an under of 1 minute, that kind of thing as well, where it's still quite intense on the under. I have big ratings of that. And especially with that TT course, having like a lot of work where you're going to go well up above threshold and then have to clear it. It's really important.